Is it just me, or is the damage of Hurricane Helene not getting much media coverage? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the devastation left after Hurricane Helene has passed through much of the United States in the southeastern part. You're talking about Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, West Virginia, all over the place. There's a lot of damage. You're talking about over 1,000 unaccounted for in Western North Carolina, out there by Asheville, maybe even like Charlotte, and as many as 100 who have passed away. Now, before I go any further, may all of those who passed away rest in peace, and prayers out to the family, and those who are unaccounted for, hopefully you guys get found and everything is A-okay. Now, let's get to some of the damage. Okay, no sound on the video. I just want you to see how bad this is. This is most likely a once in a lifetime storm. A lot of these mountainous areas, we talking about some of the hardest hit spots. West North Carolina, that's all Appalachian Mountains, the southern part of the Appalachians. So this is not an area that deals with hurricanes at all. And the mountains, that's not really it. Hurricanes typically hit the coastal regions. Your Florida, North Carolina, Virginia. Y'all know I grew up in Virginia Beach, that area. So I've been hit by hurricanes on more than one occasion. I remember some of the big hurricanes in Florida, like Hurricane Andrew back in 1992. I remember the one that hit us. Isabel was a big one. There was quite a few hurricanes that hit our region. And these kind of scenes are unfortunately kind of, I don't want to say common, but I've seen them before. And we all know about Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, which was very devastating. But this right here is right along that same level. Now, unfortunately, during storms, sometimes you have those that take advantage of the situation. Okay, shout out to Andy No for breaking this news right here. Look at this. 8 migrants arrested over burglaries targeting flood victims in Tennessee. 8 men, all migrants, have been arrested for allegedly looting and burglarizing flood-ravaged victims in eastern Tennessee. That's up there in Washington County, which is like Johnson City, that area near the Virginia border. The far, far, far western part of Virginia. The part of Virginia that's so far west, it goes under West Virginia, if you understand what I'm saying. So these are the rocket scientists that are looting people after a hurricane. You done lost everything. You might have even lost your life, but let's go ahead and just loot it, because so what? It's not our country. We don't really care. These are not our neighbors. We do what we want to do. That's kind of what's going on. Okay. Now, Biden did respond. There's a video right here. It's only about 10 minutes long. Okay. You can play that if you want to. I'm not going to play it right here. He's just basically in the White House talking. He's not on the ground in Valdosta or Asheville or anywhere else. And before I continue, I do live in East Tennessee, but my region is like a valley, like Chattanooga, like far south. I'm pretty much in North Georgia. My region is fine. Once you get up in the mountains, it's rough because you got dams and you got a lot of really mountainous and hilly terrain. So it's a lot of opportunity for high elevation to low elevation flooding to occur in the mountainous area like that. I'm in the valley, so it's less opportunity for that kind of thing to be going on. Plus, we didn't really get hit by the hurricane. We got some of the outer bands, rain, but that's pretty much it. So my area, I'm fine. Other parts, once you go a little bit further east from me in North Carolina, up in the mountains, and then north and east in the mountains in Tennessee, it was pretty bad. Let's continue here. Now, Biden was asked about the hurricane. Let's see what he says.
Do you have any words for the victims of this hurricane?
Yes, it's tragic. Matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time, so we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we've given them, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet.
Okay, so that's a big part right there. People are talking about this, saying, hey, are you going to give any more resources? It's like, nah, we already got it pre-planned, so that's pretty much it. Now, you can take that one of two ways. The one way is, look, you on your own, oh, well, we're not giving you no more. Or saying, well, we already got a pre-planned amount, so why would we give more than what we've already planned to give? Okay, now, I think what he could have said is, if we need to give more, we're going to give more. We're going to give whatever's needed to these people so they can recover. That would be the correct answer. But this guy's 1,000 years old, so he's pretty much just trying to say something to prevent from saying nothing or stumbling and stammering and falling on his hind parts on television. Okay, now, Trump put out a statement, says he's going to go down to Valdosta. Valdosta, Georgia, is right above the Georgia. It's pretty much right on the Georgia-Florida line, not far from Tallahassee, Florida. Okay, so he says he's going to go to Valdosta, pay their respects, and you can see the rest of it right here. Okay, so shout out to Trump. Shout out to anybody who's going to help in the situation. I don't care if you left, right, whatever. If you're going to help in the situation, if you're going to donate, give supplies, shout out to you. Now, let's get to a news clip here in which we get some more context. This is going to be on CBS. I will link to it, of course, in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Unfortunately, though, we're going to begin with the historic devastation from Hurricane Helene. I know you've heard about it. The storm is now blamed for more than 100 deaths, and the damage extends for more than 600 miles across the South. Look at these pictures. Officials in the Carolinas describe the toll as biblical, even apocalyptic. Flooding reached unprecedented levels in southern Appalachia, and more than 2 million homes and businesses from Florida to Ohio are still without power at this hour.
Now, I feel really bad for Asheville. I feel bad for everybody that is impacted by this, but Asheville, it's an area that has seen a lot of, I guess you would say, revitalization. It's been up and coming. It's been a hot spot for people to move to. They're thinking, okay, this is going to be a good place for me to live and raise children. And it is, and it will be when they recover. But this kind of thing right here, it really sets a community back, especially one that has been revitalized and whatnot. But let's continue.
Skylar Henry's reporting from Asheville, North Carolina with the latest.
Hurricane Helene carved a path of destruction across a large swath of the southeastern United States over the weekend. After slamming into Florida's Big Bend Thursday night with 140-mile-per-hour winds and 15-foot storm surges.
And that storm surge is big because when you're talking about the flooding and whatnot, plus the wind, that's the biggest part. That storm surge, it's rough, man. It can wipe out a whole community, a whole city. It's very damaging. And of course, when you have the wind, you also have the risk for tornadoes, which are very devastating in a situation like this. Hurricanes, weather events like this are no joke. Now, some are going to try to talk about climate change. Please stop. Hurricanes have happened before the thing called climate change even existed. Then some are going to say, well, the intensity of the hurricanes has increased. How do you know that? What are you judging that on? Just stop. Hurricanes happen. It's just kind of a rare occurrence for a hurricane to hit right there at basically Valdosta, Tallahassee, that area, the panhandle of Florida, and then have enough strength to continue over land and continue the devastation because of the amount of water that it brings. It was a pretty big storm. At one point, it reached from South Florida to Virginia. So it was a pretty big storm, but let's continue.
The drone video over Horseshoe Beach west of Gainesville shows the extent of the destruction from the hurricane. Officials estimate that 90% of homes in the Gulf Coast town of Keaton Beach are gone. The devastation reached as far north as Tennessee. Dramatic video shows the moment this bridge in Greene County collapsed under the pressure of rising floodwaters. And in Georgia, nearly 600,000 people remained without power late Sunday night.
A lot of cleanup, a lot of power lines down. Probably one of the worst storms Middle Georgia's ever seen.
But the storm appears to have inflicted its worst damage in the Carolinas, where officials say more than 70 people have been found dead so far. A mother, Megan Dry watched as her 7-year-old son Micah and her parents got swept away into the flood. All were stranded on their roof when it collapsed into the water. Megan was rescued. The catastrophic flooding impacted critical infrastructure across the region, including fuel supplies, leaving hours-long lines outside local gas pumps. CBS News was on scene at a gas station in Buncombe County, North Carolina, when frustrations boiled over.
Now, one thing about it, a lot of these areas, they're not really used to dealing with hurricanes, any kind of weather event like this, especially in the mountainous area. Would you think that a hurricane would hit you in an inland region in the mountains? No, because it doesn't really happen. It was just kind of a once-in-a-lifetime type of occurrence where the hurricane hit Florida at the exact space to have enough energy to go up that way and cause damage. That's very rare. Normally they hit East Coast. And by the time they get to the mountains, it's a rainstorm at best, a basic small amount of rain, nothing that would cause any kind of damage.
Here in Asheville, catastrophic flooding cut off roadways, power lines, and cell service, isolating residents. 20 miles to the north, in the town of Marshall, Mayor Helene fears the cleanup could take years.
Once all the water gets out of here and all the power gets restored, then we'll really be able to start a building process back.
You can see the watermark. You know, we hit about 26 foot 9 inches.
Josh Kopis owns a hotel and restaurant in Marshall. He said,
Did he say 26 foot 9 inches? That's crazy. That's crazy. But if you got a creek or a river or a stream or something like that near you, and you got storm surge, high winds, high rain, you're pretty much toast, unfortunately.
Says the floods that struck his town over the weekend were beyond anything he could have imagined.
Floodwaters went all the way to the second story. I mean, no one had that. No one had that.
So there's more, a little bit more to that video, but I just want to say shout out to everybody who has gone through the storm and survived the storm. I just pray for everybody's recovery and for everyone to be found if they're missing, and all those who have passed away, may they rest in peace, and prayers out to their family. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Have you been impacted by the storm? Did you have a flood, power out, trees down, damage to your home, whatever your thoughts are on that? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think we're dealing with climate change or what a global warming, global cooling? Is it that, or just a hurricane, a natural disaster? Things happen. We have earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, heat waves, cold snaps. What they say in Atlanta a year or two ago, where they had the pipe Mageddon, where all the pipes froze because it got a little bit too cold. Whatever your thoughts are on this weather event, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, this is kind of a once in a lifetime thing, but I do know that the government needs to be all hands on deck trying to repair the situation. Because if you have billions to spend literally on the migrants every year, actually $450 billion to be exact, if you have that kind of money to spend on the migrants, let's take a little bit of that money and spend it on American citizens, spend it on the infrastructure, spend it on building this country back up. A lot of your highways in North Carolina are completely washed away. I-40, like important parts of the state are done because of the hurricane. So let's invest money into that first before we try to go overseas and help foreign people who are not even American citizens. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.